Well overdue.
As part of the American Cities Climate Challenge, we partnered with OUC and the Science Center to bring the Orlando Tiny Greenhouse today. Visitors have an opportunity to engage in a lot of cool interactive features that will be guiding them on how to save money and reduce their environmental impact. Even though this technology has evolved, not everybody can afford EV or solar right now, so there's a lot of other great highlights of low-cost and no-cost opportunities to save residents money that you'll learn about when you visit the home. And the greenhouse is on wheels, so we're going to be able to take it around the community and have people enjoy it and learn from it in various different areas of our community.
Trailing Thoughts from Katy Way Trail. This trail is so wide. I like to think that Katy was the name of the engineer designing the trail, and that someone came by and said, "Do you really think the trail needs to be 12 feet wide?" And she replied, "It's the Katy Way."
about Dog Walker Watch?
I think it's a great program where it's dog walkers like me who are out and about in their neighborhood every day. They're the eyes and ears of the neighborhood, providing an extra set of eyes to the police. If you see something, say something.
It absolutely makes a difference because it will weed out the crime because they know that we're saying hello and greeting and that we've made eye contact and that I see you.
It's easy. You know, you're going to walk your dog anyway. You're going to say hello to your neighbors anyway. You're going to be walking through on a daily basis, so it's just important to contribute back to your community.
Good afternoon and welcome to the January 10th, 2022 meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to begin today's proceedings with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Regina Hill today. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. May we bow our heads. Eternal and loving God, we are grateful for your blessings to see a new year. We give you thanks for yet another opportunity to join together as leaders of this great city, the mayor and commissioners and staff, as well as residents, as we continue the work that lies ahead. As we enter the beginning of this new year, I pray for your guidance, protection, and healing be upon each of us, that our decisions be wise and our discussions meaningful for the good of all people. Let our thoughts and conversations be led by only you, Lord. Bless each of us to operate with the spirit of joy, enthusiasm, and inclusion, to allow us to grow closer as a community. Bless our city, O Lord, our elected officials, law enforcement officers, fire safety officers, frontline workers, and above all, your people, the citizens. Grant us peace that surpasses all understanding in our vision, ideas, and collaborative thoughts. Grant us wisdom to govern, even amid conflict, and the ability to work together when there is disagreement. Bless us as a unified body. Give us strength and power to continue our mission to serve our community and the residents with dignity, pride, and respect. Loving God, we honor you and give you thanks for your continued blessings and for the hands of protection over each of us. Let your will be done in all that we do, that we ask in your name, the name above all. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make a determination of quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Here.
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan? Here. Commissioner Hill?
Here.
Commissioner Burns?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Okay, first order of business would be the minutes.
So
from the
moved.
Agenda review and city council meetings of December 6th, 2021. Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So the motion carries. We are right into awards presentations and recognitions. So I'd like to begin with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. month. We want to acknowledge the work of our commission that works so ably all through the year to begin this week of honoring and recognizing Dr. King's legacy. The commission, along with our city staff, work hard throughout the whole year to ensure that we exemplify the values of Dr. King throughout our community. And we have a number of events. Some are in person, some are virtual, some are in flux between being in person and being virtual, so stay tuned for each of those. I want to congratulate a city family member. Reggie, would you stand up? So this is going to be a big week for Reggie. He is our Community Services Director. He's receiving honors at two different events. He is the recipient of the Drum Major Award for Civic Affairs at the Mlk Commemorative Luncheon on Friday. And then at the Southwest Orlando JCs, he will receive a Lifetime Achievement Award on Monday at the Pappy Kennedy Breakfast. Congratulations. And Marcia, would you come up and give us a little bit of flavor for what we're going to have during the next week?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Of course. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Commissioners and members of the Mayor's Dr. Martin King Jr. Commission and the MLK Commission sponsors who are watching, many of them collectively, the meeting online today to ensure everyone's safety and also everyone who has joined us here in the chambers. Today, Mayor Dyer and our City Council would like to thank and acknowledge the Mayor's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commission members for their dedicated service and their hard work. And you see a slide of all of them listed there. Please take a minute to look through and see who's giving their time and service to this important commission. They are working and are recognizing the legacy of Dr. King. Our MLK Commission members that you see and their affiliations, whether companies or civic affiliations, are on a Zoom call together right now watching today's presentation. So kudos to them and thank you for your extra service and for all that has been done to make today possible and all of the events possible. Each member of the MLK Commission, which is led by our chair, Brandy Hand, is committed to the Commission's mission, which our city believes in and aspires to live up to, which is Dr. King's legacy of equality, justice, peace, respect, and inclusion for all. As Dr. King once said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So special thanks to our commission and also to our, let me just make sure I go next, to our outstanding sponsors. We have a lot of community sponsors, and we cannot do this work without the support of sponsors who are shown here and their commitment to making the MLK Commission's mission a reality in their companies and also in the community. And to our MLK partners who have pivoted to virtual, as Mayor Dyer mentioned, or whatever they needed to do to make these community events possible. They are still happening to honor Dr. King, and of course the holiday will be on Monday, January 17th this year. In normal times, I would at this time call on the members of our MLK Commission, the 2022 Commission, and ask them to come up and visit with you all and take a picture. Well, we regret that we can't do that, but we also know that since we can't do that today, we thank each one of them. And I ask all of us to thank them when we see them out in the community, when we see them at any of the in-person events. We do have a couple. Please thank them for their hard work and dedication. It is an honor for me and other city staff to work with them. I'd definitely like to also thank the city staff members who have been working with me through the year in various capacities to support the MLK Commission this year. And they include Reggie McGill, Walter Hawkins, Lizette Feliciano, and from my team in the Office of Community Affairs, Felicia Korchevsky and Sylvia Wills. So please thank them as well, because it's not something that just comes together. We have probably 20 partners or more, and working to coordinate those activities requires a lot of staff involvement. So finally, on behalf of Mayor Dyer and his MLK Commission, I invite everyone to come and be a part of some of the events that we have coming up. You see them, some of them on the screen, some of the highlights. And if you can, come to the ones that are in person, but most of all, please join the ones that are virtual. You can join that from your home, from your office, from wherever you are. So we hope you'll register. Some of them require registration, and participate. And we have a great day of service on the 17th, which we hope that you'll go online and sign up to participate in. You can see all of these events and the remainder of the MLK events listed on the city's website at mlkorlando.com. So with that now, Mayor Dyer, please read the official proclamation.
Thank you, Marcia. We have a proclamation from the City of Orlando. We'll read a few of the whereas clauses, but not all of them. Whereas January 17, 2022 is the 36th anniversary of the national holiday honoring the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., one of America's greatest visionary leaders who peacefully created a civil rights activism in our nation through nonviolent means. And whereas Dr. King devoted his life to the struggle for justice and equality for people of all races and ethnicities, leading to the establishment of many federal, state, and local laws that prohibit discrimination and foster human rights. And whereas, as the City of Orlando celebrates and promotes Dr. King's incredible historic legacy, we encourage residents to participate in the 2022 Orlando MLK holiday activities and programs, and to sign the Orlando MLK Pledge denouncing racism and discrimination in all forms, sharing in our efforts to make Orlando a more welcoming and inclusive community. Now, therefore, we, Buddy Dyer, Mayor, and Commissioners Jim Gray, Tony Ortiz, Robert Stewart, Patty Sheehan, Regina Hill, and Bakari Burns hereby do proclaim January 9th through the 17th, 2022 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday Week in the city of Orlando.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners.
And I would note that you can visit mlkorlando.gov if you'd like to sign the pledge. Thank you, Marcia, and thank you to all of the hardworking members of the MLK Commission. As you know, we lost a city family member recently. Jim Hunt passed away on December 20th. He had retired this past summer after 23 years with the city. He served as, among other things, Deputy Public Works Director and the city engineer. He was so kind and he was professional. We send our support to his loved ones and friends and many colleagues during this difficult time. Also, on behalf of the City Council, I want to send our condolences to the family and friends of Beverly, Colson, Neal. He passed away last month. For decades, he was a champion for civil rights and fairness in our community and statewide. Beverly helped lead the Orange County branch of the NAACP for many years and was committed to helping create a more equitable Central Florida for everybody. Lastly, COVID is impacting our lives again, as you can see from the many virtual events that we are having for MLK Week, and that we're masked up here in City Hall. There's a huge demand for testing. We've seen miles of cars out at Barnett Park. So the city is stepping up, and we opened a new testing site at Camping World Stadium this morning that's going to operate 7 days a week. It's free. We would ask you to sign up, but you don't need an appointment, just need your information. And I want to remind you, getting vaccinated is the very best defense. Getting the booster is important as well. If you're vaccinated and you're boosted, yeah, you may get COVID, but you're not going to end up in the hospital and you're not going to end up dying. There's a lot of people that are in the hospital right now that I still don't understand are unvaccinated and rolling the dice basically with their lives and the lives of their families. So I encourage you to get vaccinated. I'm just going to mention one item of note on the council agenda, and that's our rental assistance program administrative services contract with Kpmg. We were very successful in distributing the entirety of the rental assistance we got in the first round, $8.6 million, and we have another close to $7 million that we're going to be able to get out to our residents, city households. And we want to thank Orange County, who in the interim between the first tranche and now the second tranche was processing city residents along with residents who live in the unincorporated area. But you'll be able to apply to the city program again with this contract. All right, with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is a number of items acted upon through a single vote of council. We allow our council members to highlight items on the consent agenda and important happenings in their districts. We rotate the order that we do that, and Commissioner Hill is first up today. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. And first, I'd like to say Happy New Year to everyone. It's good to see each of you, and it's a blessing for us all to be here. And congratulations to my colleagues for 4 more years. Look forward to doing great work with each and every one of you all. And as the Mayor stated, lastly, I would like to also extend my deepest sympathies to Jim Hunt's family. Jim was one of a kind, as Mayor said, just a sweet, sweet man with just a genuine soul, and he will tremendously be lost. I know when he retired, I was feeling the loss, but even a deeper, profound loss now. But we know his work will live on in this city and the legacy that he made here. So, again, my deepest condolences. I'd like to talk about a few things on the consent agenda that's related to some of the things that are important to me, as well as District 5. And Mayor Dyer, I'd like to thank you also for your leadership, sir, in this D1 part of the agenda where for decades and decades old, the fairground was getting 100% of the parking revenues there, and through your leadership, you know, I don't know if you all remember, I almost don't forget anything. Mayor Dyer said about 3 state of the cities ago, similar to what you said in Paramore, watch what I do in Mercy Drive. And I can say in the last 3 years, Mercy Drive now is becoming the focal point of that west side where we're creating affordable housing. The Kid Zone has expanded out there with over $2 million investment into youth services and family services. And today, hopefully with the support of council, we'll be creating a additional trust for those families and children that are in need of many resources through the parking that will be taking place there at the fairgrounds. So through the partnership and us working with the fairgrounds, 50% of the parking revenue will go to the fairgrounds, and now 50% will go to the trust in the Mercy Drive corridor in perpetuity. And Mayor, that's legacy. And I really appreciate, sir, you leading that effort and transitioning and transforming the lives there, but also not just talking about it, but putting real resources in place to even after many of us are gone from this dais. So thank you, sir. Can we give the mayor applause on that? First, we got to vote on it. I need you guys. And then, as the mayor stated, with the rental assistance program, I'm so excited to see us receiving more funding and more elated about the fact that 45% minority participation on that contract, where it's a $1.6 million contract. And Kpmg have just done a phenomenal job with distributing those funds out in our first cycle, and I look forward to them doing that. But they also brought on a 100% African American team of young men called Indelible that went out and hit the ground and made sure that they helped case manage those that needed those funds, whether they were from District 1 all the way to District 6. And because of their efforts in meeting those goals that was put forth, they're now also coming back on board with that and getting 45%. So I'm just excited about that contract there. And it just shows about the inclusion and equity that this city and this dais and our leadership in the different departments really are committed to. Because we can talk about certain things, but until we start talking about wealth building, we're really not talking about a whole lot, because that's how communities are transformed by local minority participation in small businesses. With that, I knew I was gonna call Gennaro up on one of the items, which is our lot clearing items, where we will maintain lots throughout the city, in which we've done a great job with making sure there was equity and inclusion. With this one, there isn't any participation because no one responded. It was, the city did a valid job with reaching out. But if Mayor and Council, if you can just spare me 2 minutes, can you come up, Gennaro, talk about the efforts that we're going to put place as we move forward for this particular contract?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners. Yes, I will address that. In addition to item B2, which has no MB participation, is not because the prime didn't try, and there was follow-up by our staff. We verify the prime's efforts to find someone, and he couldn't. We couldn't either. As a result of that, and the other ones that you routinely see, like piggybacks without MB participation, we have identified and potentially identified probably 40 to 58 categories where we routinely do not get MB participation, and in response to Commissioner Hill and Commissioner Burns, we're going to do a series of targeted outreach, and it's going to be different this time in the sense that we will only be targeting businesses, minority-owned businesses, that are not certified with the city, so we can try to make more businesses certified with us so they can take advantage of some of these opportunities and increase our percentage.
That's it. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
very much for your leadership. Thank you. And so we'll go to some of the things that I've done here. And another thing I do want to add on to is yesterday was 5 years since Lieutenant Deborah Clayton's tragic death. And so a few of us went over to Turkey Lake Park, and one thing she loved was seafood. And so we had led by Corporal Lundy and some of the men and women from OPD, auxiliary departments, family and friends, and some of her colleagues. We had a seafood bash in her honor. So thank you, Chief. I know you sent folks and you sent your love in to the family. I know you were busy and couldn't be there, but I really appreciate you for helping to make that happen yesterday. Her family were, even in such a tragic, there were smiles and laughter, and I know that's something she would have wanted. On Saturday, December the 11th, I joined Mayor Dyer with the Wells Fargo Day of Service there in the Paramore Main Street. Something that we love doing is presenting checks. So we went throughout Paramore with Wells Fargo and Hope USA to allocate over $22,000 to many of the small businesses there in that area, and also did some cleanup and painting. So as I stated earlier this morning, we are just so fortunate to have so many great public and private partners to help move our city along, and I'm fortunate to have them focused there in District 5. Later that day, I partnered with Chaplain Jillian Hewitt of Fisher of Souls International to host an annual Angel Tree event there at St. Mark. I was over in your district, but I brought kids from all over the city at my home church, where we distributed toys to children of parents that are incarcerated. And these parents send their kids' names to my office and also to the Fisher of Souls. And we make sure that they have at least one gift for Christmas, but surrounded by some loving elves and people from the community to let them know that they're not alone, and because their parents might be experiencing some difficulties in their life, that they're still thought about. And on that Monday, December the 13th, I attended the Mayor's State of the City address, which was a huge and great success right there, held in beautiful Paramore District 5 at the Explorer Stadium. It was well attended. The sun was on our side. It was on our backs versus in our face. So that was nice. Nice cool breeze, and the rain came afterwards. A great job, Mayor, and your team. I'm just excited and exuberant to know that our city is well and that we have such great things to look forward to. Later that evening, I attended a community meeting along with Commissioner Burns and School Board Member Vicki Felder there at Carver Middle School to address some of the concerns of parents and teachers. And I'm certain Commissioner Burns probably will expand on that. It was in his district, but we share that corridor together, so many of our students, but you know, we're all one. We're one Orlando, so when there's a problem or something that arises, wherever it is, we all come together. So that was an evening of OPD, Orange County Sheriff Department, and many of our community leaders coming together. Tuesday, December 14th, I was able to attend a joyful gathering at the Salvation Army Joy Center there in East Colonia. I kind of traded over into your territory, Commissioner Ortiz. And it was great. I sit on that board, and we were able to supply and bag toys for children from all over Central Florida. On the 15th of December, I attended Gray Robinson's Community Leader Forum, where we were addressed by Dr. Cartwright, who is the new UCF president. What an amazing speaker. I implore you, if you have not met him or got a meeting with him, please do. What a phenomenal individual we have over there to help us lead that great research university that's doing great work, not just from an educational component, but from a community component also. And then on that Friday, I headed over to the Paramore Kids Zone, where a lot of great community partners came together, along with myself and Commissioner Burns, to provide hundreds of toys and bikes for children in District 5 and District 6, Paramore, Holden Heights area. Huge thank you to our recreation team, Lisa Early, Rodney Williams, Brenda March, and their amazing team. There was laughter and dancing all throughout that evening. And it was just beautiful to see kids laughing and smiling and able to be kids again, because last year at this time, there was a different story and scenario. Joined Mayor Dyer that evening where we marched for Cure. It was a great event, a lot of meaning and significance behind it, where we were raising monies to cure cancer, especially breast cancer. And thank you to Paul Wyatt, the Chief Excitement Officer of Porsche Able. She did a great job pumping us up, and all the folks that helped put that together. On that Saturday, December 18th, I joined Bishop Derek McCrae there in District 5 in Lake Larned, where thousands of people were in attendance to receive free food, toys, furniture, gift cards, and much more. It was just celebrated by all, and it's just so good to see Lake Larned after our restoration of that park being utilized by people from all over in all walks of life. So I'm so excited about that investment. I'd like to thank Dan Cross and Athletic Connections, Scott Kotroba of Orlando Jobs and their team for providing thousands of toys for the children there in the Northwest Mercy Drive corridor. We were there from 10 until 2, and every child within that corridor went home with something. We had popcorn and all type of treats for them and their family. And I'd like to also thank St. Maggie Magdalene School, where Scott's daughter attend. They provided hundreds of boxes of food with toiletries and toys, 3 truckloads of toys there in that Mercy Drive corridor, from children that never even seen a kid on Mercy Drive and possibly don't even look like them, and most definitely don't come from the same economic households. For them to think about those kids and persuade their parents and their parents' partners and friends to fill up 3 U-Hauls full of great toys to that corner. I just thank them from the bottom of my heart. And thank New Hope for Kids for providing toys for soldiers to scholars over in the Metro Place. And then I won't call their name, but I also want to thank a anonymous donor that also provided over 3 truckloads of toys for the children over in District 5, Ivy Lane, and Metro Place, and Mercy Drive corridor. You know, in the toughest times, this is what this city does. We rally behind each other and fill in the gap, and it was just an amazing Christmas this Christmas for so many children, whether they were giving or receiving, and families. And last, I would like to thank the Orlando Magic for them presenting me with the Magic Diversity Game Changer Award here on December the 23rd when they played the Milwaukee Bucks. Thank you to CEO Alex Martin, Vice President Linda Landman Gonzalez, and Tyler Edwards, I apologize, the Assistant Director of Live Entertainment Operation. You know, it came back for me full circle, which, you know, there was a time where I was on the rolls of welfare and food stamps, and Mayor, my first job was with the Orlando Magic in 1990. A little baby girl, she was about 6 weeks old, and I just wanted to turn it all around. And they opened up the door to where I was a prep chef in the morning, and in the evenings I would serve their season ticket holders. And from there I went on to become a nurse, and now I sit here being able to pay it forward. But it's because of, you know, organizations such as that it's not just about sports, it's not just about entertainment, it's about opportunity. And that's what I think this city does so well, is create opportunities for somebody just like me to even become a commissioner for the 3rd time. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Burns.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor, and Happy New Year as well. First, Mayor, I'd like to say thank you for your leadership in allowing Camping World Stadium to be used as a COVID testing site. As we know, COVID is still with us, and this new Omicron variant is more contagious, but luckily it doesn't seem to be as severe. So again, I want to encourage everyone to get vaccinated, and please continue to adhere to the social distancing. A couple of things on the agenda. First, on item A1, I'd like to say thank you to the residents who are being appointed or reappointed to serve on the various citizens advisory boards. Thank you for your willingness to serve in that capacity. Also, for items A2 through A9, I want to thank Heather Fagan and Anna Palenzuela for reviewing the compensation schedules of our commissioners' aides and making the necessary adjustments. I think we are all fortunate to have great aides, and this change does begin to acknowledge their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the city as well as our respective districts. So thank you, Heather and Anna, for making that happen. Also, for item C1, I'd like to express my support for the Mary L. Johnson House being approved as an Orlando Historic Local Landmark designation. Mary Johnson, this house was owned and lived in by Miss Mary Jane Johnson, who provided midwifery services to women in the Black community who would otherwise not have access to those services. She started delivering babies in Jonestown, then moved to South Street, and finally the final location here on Bruton Boulevard. So again, just wanted to acknowledge her contribution to our community. Hundreds of children were born at the Johnson House, and actually her neighbor, Mary Maxwell, mentioned to me that she delivered 3 of her own 7 kids. I need to get some clarification on exactly how that happened, but just wanted to acknowledge that and her contribution to our community. Also in December, I had the opportunity to host and participate in several Christmas celebrations in District 6. We had performances, toys, entertainment, food for our community, thanks to my staff, the staff of the Smith Center, and our volunteers who really came together and helped many of our underprivileged children receive gifts and just celebrate Christmas. Also, for Christmas, we had a celebration at the L. Claudia Allen Senior Community Center. My office provided lunch, gifts, and entertainment for our beloved seniors to send them into the new year the right way. We also were joined by former commissioner, and I know it's Mayor Dye's favorite commissioner, Commissioner Mabel Butler was there as well, so we had a grand time celebrating with our seniors. Also, as Commissioner Hill mentioned last month, we joined OCPS board member Vicki Felder at Carver Middle School to address the issues with the uptick in violence and fighting at the school. I attended Carver Junior High School at the time, and I'm committed to working on solutions. Had an opportunity to speak with Chief Rolone, and we kind of bounced a few ideas of how can we come together and truly serve the community and keep our schools, not just Carver, but all of our schools safe. On January 19th, my office will be hosting our District 6 community meeting at the Smith Center at 6 p.m. Because of COVID and the numbers continue to rise, we will have a virtual option. So attendance will be limited in person, but we will have a virtual option, and we encourage everyone to participate. Also, to end the year off, my office named Tony's Brazilian Grill as the District 6 Business of the Month. Tony's is a staple in the Brazilian community, and with tourism from Brazil bouncing back, we wanted to highlight a business doing great work in the district. They have some of the best oxtails I've tasted, so I want to also just encourage everyone, if you're out on I-Drive in District 6, stop by Tony's to have a great meal. And that's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
We'll move on to Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be really brief, but I do want to recognize the passing of Jim Hunt. Always admired Jim as a guy that knew his business and understood his business, and just a lot of admiration. We will miss him. On a lighter note, we had a lot of holiday parties, but one which is always special to us is we take, Ed, come on down, as we take our kids from Citrus Square to Target. You probably heard me say there's nothing more enjoyable than giving a kid a $100 gift card with no parents to tell him what they can or cannot buy, as long as it's appropriate. So here's a couple of pictures. We get up and just roll them through it. We get up at 6:30 each morning to beat the crowd, and had a lot of folks from the city and neighbors help us. But look at that kid. I mean, who would have picked out a dinosaur? But boy, it made his day. So it was a fun time. I want to thank the Nobilo Foundation. They raise money each year through different events, and then allow us, there's our group. And they all came in pajamas, which was kind of cool too. So Ed, thanks for being there. Even Ed got up early and took pictures. So it cost me a stack of pancakes, but Ed was there. So thank you, Ed. Also want to congratulate the folks on the Mlk Commission, and certainly thank Marcia and Reggie for leading us through that. I know it's kind of challenging with COVID, but a lot of really great events. So thank you guys very much for doing that. And thanks also to the sponsors who make that happen. You can't do it without folks writing some checks and helping to pay for some things. So thanks to the sponsors. And then the final thing I would say is it's not only exciting for all the Mlk events, but this Friday we're going to cut the ribbon for the Steinmetz, and that'll lead off to a week or two of exciting events across the street. And a while coming, but good things sometimes take a little bit of extra time. So that's an exciting time. So we got a lot of really neat things happening in the city. So with that, Mayor, I think I've worn out my welcome today. So I'm done.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll move to Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to recognize the passing of our friend, Mr. Jim Hunt. The character of a human being is just established above anything else by his or her word and then his or her actions. But true friendship lies primarily in loyalty, and that was Jim Hunt. Straight guy, he told you how he felt. Whenever you asked him to do something for you, he was there. Most of the time he did it himself. So he was a man of his word and a man of great character, and I consider him family anyhow, great guy, so it's a great loss to the city. Anyhow, congratulations to each one of the commissioners, Commissioner Jim Gray, Robert Stewart, and Regina Hale, on your reappointment, or re-election, not reappointment, re-election. We look forward to the next 4 years of your leadership again. So. The State of Florida legislative session starts tomorrow. So let's get back to business here. The Tallahassee legislative session is a 60-day period during which our state legislators convene to discuss laws that could potentially influence the future of our communities, and we need to get involved now more than ever. And we mean this. We need to contact our state lawmakers to let them know how we feel about them voting on the different legislations. There's legislations that have to do with net metering, with housing, transportation, vacation rentals, and a whole array of things that do affect us here. We got to stop the way they're doing business in Tallahassee, where they preempt us and they send us on funded mandates. But the only way we can do this is by participating. Each and every one of us have 2 legislators, a representative and a senator. Those are just 2 calls, unless you want to call the governor, of course, that would also help. But please get involved, and not only this, what we're going to do is we're going to be posting the priorities, legislations that are important to our city in our websites. We're going to also pass around our commissioners, and we've been discussing, or we're not discussing, we're going to be passing some of the legislative priorities and talking to our communities, making sure that our community is well aware of those legislations that affect us. So please get involved. And if you have a neighbor, if you have somebody you can talk to, please talk about this. I mean, in any particular session, in any particular setting, please talk about legislations. Please talk about city items, the things that affect us every day, because it's important to us. And Tallahassee is getting away with way too much. We need to really enforce or really bring back the power of government to the shoulders of the communities. And I can say that enough. Enough is enough. Those at our positions and in Tallahassee and at the federal government, we are representing. We don't dictate. We don't tell you how things are. You tell us which direction you want us to lead our communities. So please get involved. And on Tuesday, March 1st, we'll be kicking off the Government Academy. I'm looking forward to meeting this semester students and for another opportunity to inform the community about the importance of government. Once again, just head over to our website to sign up. This time it's going to be in English. We have one in English, one in Spanish, but the first one during the year is in English. And it's 11 weeks of an academy where you learn anything and everything that has to do with government. Of course, we combine forces with the Mayor's Academy, which is a great academy. He takes care of everything that has to do with the city. And the good thing about his is that they take the students to the places, right? Ours is at the same place, but we can take our people to Washington and places like that because it's a little too far, a little too costly. But you do learn about the government as a whole, from the federal government all the way down to the smallest part of government, as you would call it, at the local level. Anyhow, that's all I have right now, Mayor, and thanks a lot.
Thanks, Commissioner. We're going to skip Commissioner Stewart for now and go to Commissioner Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a few things. I would just like to also, I knew Jim Hunt before either one of us worked for the city. Always a very sweet man, and I used to say he really did suffer fools gladly. I mean, people can be really mean sometimes, and I would hear them just scream at Jim, and he would always just deal with it like a gentleman. And I also want to thank the city staff because they were very kind to Dwayne, his partner, told me how kind everyone was to him. And people wonder why gay community makes a big deal out of rights. Well, we didn't used to have the rights to leave things to our partners and things like that. So I just want to say that on behalf of Jim's partner and his family, thank you for everything everyone did to treat him with respect and dignity, and to treat his family with respect and dignity too. I would like to also congratulate my colleagues, Commissioner Gray, Stewart, and Hill. Elections are never fun, but boy, are they fun when they're over and you win. So thank you for your service. I also want to wish a happy anniversary to Bill Stevens and Robert Brings. Yes. The January 6th that I celebrate is the anniversary of that day where 50 couples came on the first day gay marriage was legal in the state of Florida, and Mayor, you married 50 couples on the steps of City Hall and the Vowed and Proud ceremony, and that's the January 6th that I celebrate. So again, a lot of people don't realize this, but Bill and Bob and another couple were actually involved in a lawsuit. If they were denied the marriage license, they were going to sue, which they ended up getting. But they were actually a big part of that. So again, I just want to recognize Bill for his advocacy on the part of the LGBTQ community, as well as doing a damn fine job in my office. Thanks, Bill. Tonight is the college football championship, and why do I mention that is because my dear friend and deceased liaison, Karen Long, roll tide, if I don't say that, she's going to haunt me. On the agenda today, item J2, Virginia Drive Interlocal Agreement. This is a long time coming. All you poor people in my district on Virginia Drive and in Commissioner Stewart's district in Corrine Drive who have been suffering through this horrible road that is in such bad disrepair that you can literally turn your ankle on it. as I do when I'm trying to walk my little dog sometimes. We're finally going to get this road fixed and get some good things coming. And I know they pulled it off the last agenda, but I will give praise to anybody who worked on this transportation. Finally, this has taken almost a decade, which is ridiculous. We need to get our roads fixed a lot sooner than 10 years. And I guess they sent some of the public works folks out and they said, gee, it's even worse than Sheehan said it was. And it is. So we need to, again, these are the bottom line services that we need to provide to our constituents. It's the least we can do to make sure they can travel our roads safely. I'm glad to see something finally happen with this. And then not only is it going to get fixed, it's going to be much better than it was before in terms of pedestrian safety. On the agenda today also, item B7, I fully support rooftop solar on the Northwest Community Center, but something I'm very, very concerned about as someone who has solar panels on her own roof is that our utility companies are trying to take away our ability to recoup our investment. It's called net metering. And as a person who myself, I put, I'm not, everybody, I'll disclose, it cost me $20,000 to put solar panels on my roof. Well, now the power companies are trying to not reimburse me for the amount of power that I generate. They just want to keep it, but they want me to pay that $20,000 bill and not credit me for the amount of power that I generate. So my concern as a person who owns solar panels, personally, I'm offended by that. But now I'm looking, as we are making investments as a city, are we going to be able to recoup our investment if the power companies will not credit us for the power that we generate? This is a big deal. I'm very concerned. Now, don't get me wrong. I fully support solar power. I think it's amazing. It works for me. I'm very excited when I see that meter running backwards. But the thing is, what's going to happen if the power companies refuse to reimburse us for that power? And that is going to kill solar power. So while I fully support solar power, and I know it works, and I know it's good and it's green, I'm very distressed that we might not be able to recoup our investments as a city, much as many of the people who participated in our green programs, like me and Chris Castro and several other people are in this audience, we're very concerned about how this is happening. So again, I just want to be credited for what I generate, and I think the city should be compensated for what we generate on our rooftops. But again, I think this is a really big problem. I will bring it up every time I see it because I wouldn't have put solar on my roof had I known I wouldn't have been able to recoup my investment. And I wonder, as a city, should we be doing the same? And should we be concerned about our ability to recoup that investment? So again, I'm very supportive but concerned about what's happening at the legislature level on solar power. And it's ridiculous that we should even have to talk about this in the Sunshine State. And with that, I will move the agenda, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, let's give Commissioner Stewart a shot first.
Oh, sorry.
Great. Well, thank you, and thank you, Mayor, for this courtesy. There's a lot of things I'd like to cover, but the most important is that it's not often we have an opportunity to recognize somebody who has been with the city and devoted their life to public service, literally all their entire life. And I had the honor of working with somebody who has worked with me, Jessica Stead. So I've got a small proclamation I'd like to read in her honor, and which is going to embarrass her, which I'm completely okay with. And then I'd like to come take a picture. So Jessica, this is my gift to you. Mayor.
Proclamation, City of Orlando, Office of the Commissioners. Whereas Jessica J. Stead joined the City of Orlando team as an aide to Commissioner Robert F. Stewart, District 3, on June 26, 2006, and whereas Jessica brought with her a wealth of knowledge and experience as a legislative aide to Florida Senators Jeff Atwater and David Aaron Berg, one Republican, one Democrat, how about that, as well as Florida Attorney General Bob Butterworth, serving the citizens of South Florida. And whereas Jessica performed her duties as a commissioner's aide admirably, these duties have included complex and specialized administrative work, and she has been involved at the heart of constituent advocacy, responding to the needs of citizens. And whereas Jessica has supported the City Council through a period of unprecedented growth within the City of Orlando, and whereas Jessica has been an integral part of a district team that has served residents faithfully for 15 years, creating stability for the district and its constituents during very challenging times. And whereas upon her retirement on February the 4th, Jessica will assume the full-time duties of wife to a wonderful husband, Ryan Stead, and mother to Kendall, Garrett, Paige, and Madison. Words cannot express the deepest appreciation and gratitude on behalf of the City of Orlando staff, citizens of District 3, and most especially the District Commissioner, all of whom will miss her passion, kindness, devotion, respect, advocacy, leadership, experience, compassion, and friendship. Now, therefore, we, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, and Robert F. Stewart, District 3 City Commissioner, proclaim grateful appreciation of your long and honorable record of faithful service of the City of Orlando and extend best wishes for good health and happiness.
Can't boss them around anymore.
This is my dad, Mike, who is also a constituent. Falls apart everywhere.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. I've got about 30 minutes worth of stuff I want to go over real briefly, but I didn't want to break Regina Hill's record.
Hey, can we have a 5-minute limit like the public does?
It's 4 more years, Regina. You're stuck with me for 4 more years.
I'm just getting started.
Congratulations to Commissioner Gray and Commissioner Hill. I appreciate the opportunity to work together. And as the mayor has said, and we've said over and over again, we've got a good team. And a team that cares about the community and cares about how to make Orlando better every day. And I appreciate that. Even though we may disagree at times, I know that the heart of everybody on this council is to make Orlando better. And that's the most important thing. Let me also express my condolences to Jim Hunt and his family, and Dwayne especially. He is a wonderful, wonderful man. Taught me so much about city engineering, kind of like our planning staff teach me about becoming a planner. I don't like that. I don't like to have to learn that stuff, but they do a great job of being patient with me, and Jim was very patient with me. It was sad news. I announced the passing of another dear friend of mine, a dear friend of the city. Judge Robert Dietz was a judicial judge specializing in workers' comp, was an attorney in town and then became judge. Very, very dear friend of mine and is committed to our community. Passed away suddenly on Saturday morning, and so our condolences to his family. He's just a very, very dear friend of mine. Yesterday was National Law Enforcement Day. I want to thank all of our officers. I appreciate the work that they do. Thank you, Chief. I especially want to say thanks to Carlos Hill and the work that he does for District 3 and those who have gone before him in our area. Appreciate that. Of course, Jessica, thank you for your 15 years. And you can leave if you want. It's okay with me. A couple of quick things coming up is the College Park Neighborhood Association meeting is tonight at 6:30. That's the board meeting, and the general meeting will be at 7 o'clock. The Friends of Lock Haven, Chain of Lakes is going to have, Chain of Lakes will have a event this Saturday at 9 o'clock to help clean up in the area. The Ivanhoe Village will have Virginia Drive Live coming up on February 5th, remember that. And as Commissioner Ortiz said, the legislative session starts. Each of us need to be engaged in that process. I know that oftentimes we are adversarial with the state, and rightly so. But the fact of the matter is we get all the government that we want to be involved and engaged in. So we ask people to please get involved and get engaged. And remember that the laws that govern our community are best made at the local level because we can be the most responsive. As to the agenda items, J1, you have Virginia, Forrest, and Corrine. I am so glad. Commissioner Sheehan, it has not been a decade. It's been 15 years. I've been on 15 years now and discussed it every year for 15 years.
This is bad, really bad for a decade.
But I'll tell you that what people don't understand is in dealing with government, much of what we do happens to be the devil's in the details. This is that detail that says we now get control of the road. And thanks to Rick and the work that you've done over there to getting a resource to help us do this and begin the next step towards the final changes that we want to make along Virginia and Forrest and Corrine. This is that next most vital step, and I appreciate, Rick, the work that y'all have done over there, and appreciate this moving forward. And with that, I'm going to defer to Commissioner Sheehan so she can make a motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, so. The motion carries. Okay, if you're just here for the consent agenda, anybody that would like to take a moment?
Congratulations to legislative aides.
Yes, thank you all.
Okay, we can go right to hearings, ordinances on first read, Madam Clerk. Number 1.
Ordinance number 2021-77, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, vacating, closing, and abandoning Highway Place, generally located north of South Magnolia Avenue, east of South Orange Avenue, and west of South Roslyn Avenue and South Magnolia Avenue, generally located north of Jenny Jewel Drive, south of Highway Place, east of South Orange Avenue, and west of South Roslyn Avenue, both described in Lake Jenny Jewel's Heights plat as recorded in Plat Book J, page 129 of the Public Records of Orange County, and together comprised of 0.83 acres of land, more or less, providing for the execution of affecting documents, severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Any testimony, Madam Clerk?
No, Mayor.
Discussion, hearing none. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2021-78, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, vacating, closing, and abandoning a portion of Centerline Drive, generally located south of Laureate Boulevard, northeast of the Orlando VA Medical Center, and northwest of Kellogg Avenue, as described in the Hartwell Court Lake Nona plat, as recorded in Plat Book 76, pages 45 through 50 of the Public Records of Orange County, and together comprised of 0.3 acres of land, more or less, providing for the execution of affecting documents, severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Testimony?
No, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. And number 3.
Ordinance number 2022-5, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, vacating, closing, and abandoning a portion of Alexander Place east of Chatham Avenue, comprised of 0.07 acres of land, more or less, providing for conditions of abandonment, providing for the execution of affecting documents, severability, correction of scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan.
No, Mayor.
No public testimony, discussion, hearing none. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. All right, Madam Clerk, let's go to hearings, ordinances on second reading. Number 1.
Ordinance number 2022-1, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending and restating the Shaw Plan Development District, generally located north of Vineland Road, south of Wendover Drive, west of South Kirkman Road, and east of Peregrine Avenue, and comprised of 3.15 acres of land, more or less, providing additional and revised conditions for the PD, providing for permit disclaimer, correction of scrivener's error, severability, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Hill. Any public testimonies?
No, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2022-2, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, annexing to the corporate limits of the city certain land generally located north and south of Hoffner Avenue, east of Conway Road, south of Simmons Road, and west of South Summeron Boulevard, and comprised of 29.288 acres of land, more or less, and amending the city's boundary description, amending the city's adopted growth management plan to designate the property as office low intensity, residential low intensity, and industrial in the city's official future land use maps, designating the property as a low-intensity office residential, residential low development, and industrial park zoning districts with the aircraft noise and Conway Road special plan overlay districts, in part, on the city's official zoning maps, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Madam Clerk, any cards?
No, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Number 3.
Ordinance number 2022-3, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, annexing to the corporate limits of the city certain land generally located east of Narcoossee Road, south of Falcon Park Boulevard, and north of Central Florida Greenway State Road 417, and comprised of 67.28 acres of land, more or less, providing severability, correction of Scrivener's error, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Madam Clerk, any testimony?
No speakers, Mayor.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. Ed, could you get us prepared for general appearance?